What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Trading My Live Account. Today is day number 20, July 6th, 2023. We made some trades today, so let's get into it. Let's talk about, first and foremost, what happened in today's pre-market action. So yesterday's closing price was 34,508. Now, coming into the screenshot that we have for today at around 8:20 this morning, we were down all the way to about 34,300. So we fell more than 200 points in the pre-market coming into the 8 o'clock hour, and then we continued moving down as we came into the market open at 9:30 this morning. So at that time we were about at 34,150. So the downtrend was pretty strong coming into the open. We had a nice little bounce when the market first opened. We came back to create a higher low right here, and then we continue moving higher. Now this is what led me to trade number one. Now let's read the notes. I went long here after seeing a higher low, but I need to remember to always consider the bigger market picture, because this right here is actually one of my favorite setups. I call it a downtrend reversal with a higher low that gets established. So let's actually go to our record books and just take a good look at this pattern so I can really explain exactly what I was looking for in this scenario. So let's see. So this is a perfect example right here. Notice how this is actually from November 17th, 2020. So notice how we had a very strong downtrend, but then at some point in time, we encountered a strong reversal back to the upside where we created a higher low. What I like to do is draw a level of support at that higher low and then look to go long as prices come back into that level. So let's see a better example. So this will be a better example where we have that downtrend, we come back, create our higher low, and then I will draw my level of support on that level, stretch it across, and as prices come back and retest on this candle right here a couple of candles later, that's where I will look to go long. Now there are times where this strategy works and there are times where this strategy doesn't work, and I think the biggest thing that I want to focus on and try and really get under my belt is being able to determine when it's a good time to take that trade and when it's a time to actually let that go, because the uptrend might not be as strong as I like. Now in today's market scenario, this was actually a time where this setup was actually not working because the downtrend was just too strong. Now later on in the day, like around at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, this downtrend reversal that I was looking for, it did happen. But you never want to jump too far in front of that downtrend reversal in expectation that it can reverse if you don't see very strong selling signals. Now the strongest signal that would tell you that the downtrend reversal is possibly occurring is the intensity of the price movement once we bounce to the upside. So the downtrend should be strong coming into that reversal, but you want to see a reversal that's almost just as strong as that downtrend. So in this scenario, I would have said the strongest reversal probably would have been a push all the way back up from this swing low right here at around 34,120 all the way back up to the top of that same candle. And then if it came back down and created a higher low, that would make me a lot more confident in taking that trade. But today I took the trade anyway because I saw the higher low, and I did acknowledge the fact that it was a downtrend, but I said, look, if I see the higher low, then I just have to go long. But that's not always the case, especially with this setup right here, because it really takes practice and skill to be able to get it right. You know, in scenarios where the overall market trend is up for that day, this setup works very well. Now it also does work, it works okay in strong downtrends, but it'll be a lot easier for me to just take the short trade instead of trying to take the long trades right here. Now trade one, I was able to actually get out a little bit earlier than what my original stop target would be, because everything that I'm telling you right now, I kind of realized that towards the middle of my trade right here, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to see if this is gonna work out, let me just get out of it. So luckily I was able to take a small loss on that one and not my full potential stop loss. So then after trade one, we see prices spike down a little bit, create a new swing low, and then we pull all the way back up to retest that support level that we drew based on that higher low from a little bit earlier this morning. Now notice how once we got back up to resistance, we pulled back down, created another higher low right here, and I used the same strategy that I was looking for on trade one. I used that same strategy for trade number two as well. So I saw that higher low, I waited for prices to come back and retest that level of support, and I took prices up to my scalp target about 21 points higher. Now, trade 2, like, let's read the notes really quick. I went long after seeing a higher low form below resistance, but don't forget to consider the bigger picture, just like I was talking about in trade 1, because yes, I did see my higher low. I did take my trade and it did work, but look at where my trade actually was. Look at where my take profit was. I think my take profit was around 58 and the high for this candle was 61. So yeah, I mean, I did make a profitable trade, but just because the trade was profitable doesn't necessarily mean that that was the best decision at that time, because the trend for the day was just clearly down. We were already down more than 350 points at this time where I took trade to. So for me to fight against that, I think I'm trying to outsmart the market more than just accepting what the market is giving me and then trading with that. So if anything, I could have recognized that this area was more of a consolidation zone. So let's zoom in. This area right here was more of a consolidation zone. So whenever I see consolidation zones, what I like to do is judge the price action that was occurring before the zone got established. So before the zone got established, we were in a very strong downtrend. So that tells me that I should only trade that zone from the top of the zone, and I should only trade it from the short side. So I want to short from the top of the zone, and that's all I should be looking for. So if I took that idea into this scenario today, I would have been able to either short on this same candle, the same candle I went long on. I would have been able to short the top of that, or short maybe 3 or 4 candles later on these 2 candles as they came back up to retest resistance up here, and I would have been able to hold that definitely down to my scalp target about 20 points lower. And if I wanted to, I could have held that trade for a good portion of the day, because today was one of those days where the trend just kept going and kept going. So even though I did take that long trade on trade 2, I still don't feel like that was the best decision at that point in time. So I think what I need to focus on the most is being aware of the bigger picture. I have my setups, and I'm very confident in the setups that I trade and the setups that I like to take. But it's not just about blindly taking my setups all the time. I think it more so comes down to establishing a good viewpoint of where the market is going and what it's doing. Now, at that point in time, I knew that the trend was down, but I still chose to fight it. So not only does it come back to trading my setups the right way, but it also comes down to just overall discipline and having a better understanding of market action. So that's the main focus that I want to have going into my back testing session tonight. I want to focus on making the right decisions, analyzing the market, and determining what the trend is, and then just trading in line with the trend, not against it, but with the trend. So I think if I can clean that up, I should be able to come back tomorrow and do some pretty good things and make good trades if I just follow my trading plan like I know I should. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in with me today. I learned a lot in this session, and I hope you guys did too. I'll be back tomorrow, Friday, July the 7th, trying to close out the week the right way. So I'll see you there at 9:30 sharp. But until then, you guys, take it easy.